Women Up Radio, designed to facilitate women's empowerment, improve your career, develop your talents, incorporate your passions, achieve fulfillment and success.
Hello, this is Women Up Radio, supporting Empower Women. Today we're talking about what CEOs look for in their senior managers and how to establish high-level corporate leadership for gender equality. I'm joined in the studio by Luc Valaize, who's an international CEO, formerly of Citelum, which is Renewables and Environment, across 14 countries and 4 continents. Before that, Luc was CEO of Tiru Group, which is Energy from Waste, a subsidiary of EDF Group, GDF Suez, Veolia. So we're definitely in the field of energy, nuclear waste, all very male-dominated sectors. Hello, Luc. Welcome to the program.
Hello, Anna. I'm very happy to be with you and part of your program today.
Thank you. So, Luc, you've got great experience as a CEO in many countries. Can I ask you, what are the main qualities and strengths that you look for in your immediate team to ensure the best running of your companies?
Well, Anna, plenty of qualities. It's difficult for me to choose, but I will, and propose you a few of them. From my experience, first of all, competency. For instance, you can't recruit a CFO with a nut in accountancy, who has never heard about M&A, who hasn't a clue about how hedging the company against currency risk, even if she or he is charming, clever, very well dressed, and all smiling. Competency for the job is the first quality I'm looking for. Then I would say loyalty. I'll give you an example, Anna. It's impossible to go and fight with your competitors in a wide open market if you think that your vice president international sales is just ready to work for one of your main competitors. Loyalty is key if you want to build a successful team. Well, I admit that loyalty is not a very common quality nowadays. We zap TV channel. We easily change job with LinkedIn. We get rid of our husband or wife with love meeting websites, etc.
Very true.
Loyalty is maybe not the most shared quality in our century, but from my personal experience, it is key for the companies.
Yeah, okay.
I've got still things to tell you. I would like to add courage to the 2 first ones. You can recruit dozens of top guns that love recruiting themselves people to build large, winning, and expensive commercial teams. This is the easy part of their job as far as team building is concerned. But it is vital for you that these top guns inside your organization should be able to explain clearly and face-to-face to one of their close employees the reason why he or she decided to fire him or her. Mm-hmm. This requires some courage, Anna, and this is not the easiest part of the job. Mm. To build strong teams, you need courageous people around you.
Yeah, exactly.
I would add, which is important for me, to honesty and exemplarity. To lead teams of people somewhere, you need them to trust you. You need to show you the way if you want them to follow you. And you need to build an executive team which is honest too. Exemplarity is absolutely indispensable if you're in a management position. That's my point of view. Mm. How do you want to empower your teams if you don't do yourself what you ask them to do? Mm. For instance, how can you still fly business class if you ask your team to fly coach? Honesty and exemplarity are key qualities to become an executive.
Yes, yeah. I agree. For me, I would probably put honesty as my first choice in those, because I agree with what you say. You need competency. However, that's something that people can train to improve, etc. But honesty before everything, because if you can't have someone that is fundamentally honest, it's just not a good example. It doesn't build trust in the people around them. And courage as well, as you say, you need to be able to take the tough with the smooth, and that needs someone who's courageous. Loyalty, obviously, because if they're going to sell all your skills and secrets to somebody else, it's not exactly going to help the business. So, any other qualities or strengths that you look for?
Yes, Anna. Competency, loyalty, courage, honesty, you told it with me just now, are key. But I have several other in mind. Mm-hmm. I would add first humility. I was told last week by a friend of mine that recently during a dinner, he was sitting next to the CEO of one of the biggest French multinational companies. That CEO said very seriously, "I have never been mistaken in my life." I think that this is extremely dangerous, Anna, because of course that man is lying, but he believes he is right.
Yeah. Also, he's lying to himself.
Of course.
Because if he can't understand that himself, he's never going to be able to get other people to admit their faults either. But, sorry, I interrupted you, yes?
No, it's a pleasure, Anna. I know perfectly that to reach the top level of an organization or company requires some solid confidence in your own skills and capabilities. Mm-hmm. This doesn't lead you easily to humility. But in order to be able to listen to the best advice inside or outside the company and to take the best decisions, you have to accept that somebody around you could be more competent than you are on certain topics. Without humility, for me, there is no great leader. Mm. Another one which is, of course, obvious, it's team spirit. Mm-hmm. Look at the soccer or the rugby teams all around the world. You can recruit the best players and put them together, but if the coach is unable to create a strong team spirit, you will go nowhere with your team, and you will have spoiled your money for nothing.
Yeah.
In a company, it's the same thing. You can make what I call 1 + 1 = 0, which is a catastrophe. Or 1 + 1 is just equals 2. Or 1 + 1 = 3 or even 4. And that is great. It depends on the team spirit that you, as a leader, and each member of the team will create and let alive. Mm. Yes, for me, team spirit of each member of your team is key, Anna.
Yeah.
I've still got one, I think, which is very important for me, ability to manage personal stress. Why? Because leading companies is a tough job. On one hand, you get great commercial and strategic successes. You meet with wonderful people. You create, you develop, you empower, you deliver, etc. Sometimes you're even on the magazine. Your photo is on the magazine. But on the other hand, you get commercial and strategic defeats. You have to fight people to face accidents, some of them fatal accidents, unfortunately, strikes in major plants, financial robberies, computer hackings, etc. You need COO and other managers with strong nerves.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, Anna, a CEO facing a nervous breakdown in front of the TV cameras while announcing the end of a strike in a car manufacturing plant?
Oof, yes.
From my personal experience, capacity to manage personal stress is very important.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest causes of problems and failure when you get senior executives who face burnout, and a lot of it is because of these type of problems. It just gets too much for them.
I agree, Anna. Last but not least, I think you need a solid sense of humor, especially on yourself.
Yes.
This point is maybe more personal than the others. I cannot work with people that take themselves too seriously without any sense of humor. I do believe that humor is a key characteristic of women or men. And organizations or companies are made of women and men. Life is so boring without humor, Anna.
I agree.
So, to put it in a nutshell, from my experience, to become a strong executive, you need to develop your competency, your loyalty, your courage, your honesty, but also humility, team spirit, ability to manage your own stress, and a solid sense of humor. Reading through the management books, you could add other strengths. There are several. Like, for instance, ability to deliver a vision. But for me, this is necessary for the next step, Anna. This is to become a CEO or a chairman of the board.
In fact, when you analyze it like that, it shows just how difficult it is to really become a good executive. Because to have all of those skills, all of those talents, and to have them really deep inside you, it's not easy, and it's not something that you can do just with a normal 9-to-5 job. You have to really work at it and have a lot of energy and a lot of drive. So I think that's interesting. And also, you talking about moving to the next step and becoming a CEO, chairman of the board, there are a lot of statistics available today which prove that having women on the board of directors actually improves the results for the company. What do you think women bring to the table, and why do you think that they contribute to this increased success for the board?
Okay, Anna, let's go back to some of the basic qualities I'm looking for to promote executive managers. I would take 3 of them: competency, courage, loyalty. Women I worked with were clearly more competent than the men to reach that management level. Mm-hmm. Because for me, they had to struggle and to prove more than the men to accept to top management levels.
And because of the sort of bad vision, I don't want to say discrimination because it sounds so feminist and inflammatory, but because the opportunities were less obvious for women, that's why you think they had to work harder, to struggle more? Because
there are less numerous at that level, and yes. That minority is clearly not viewed as the normal between brackets minority by the male decision makers at that level. Probably.
Yeah. Okay.
Second thing I would say is that women I met in my career were more courageous than men. Don't ask me why. I don't really know, except answering you by a bad joke telling you that this is why God or whoever has chosen the woman to get the babies, not the men.
Yeah, women are stronger. They can take the pain.
Third point is women I recruited were less focused on their career than on their job compared to the men. So for me, they were more dedicated to their job than men. They were clearly showing more loyalty.
I know, that's a very, very interesting point. That's nice to hear, because showing that they care more for everybody and all the people in their team and not just themselves. Nice quality.
Furthermore than these 3 qualities, I would add that the women I worked with saw the world and also the business with a feminine vision, which is different and complementary to the masculine vision. Probably softer, probably a different angle. So bringing different light or angle to the business, which helps to take better decisions for me.
Yes. I know they say from the statistics that women are particularly good for balancing out risk, because men have a tendency to be more high risk, whereas women's vision on risk is a lot more analytical, and they want to make sure that it's more stable. So therefore they give a more solid base, and they restrain too much risk in the company, which I think sounds very good as well.
Women Up Radio, designed to facilitate women's empowerment, improve your career, develop your talents, incorporate your passions, achieve fulfillment and success.
As you know, this program is all about women's empowerment, and there's ever-increasing pressure on companies to work so that they get a better gender balance within their organisations. And now we have governments going so far as to say that they need to have quotas, where others are saying that targets are the better option. As a CEO, is this something that's impacted your options when selecting the best person for the job, particularly when you're promoting them to C-suite or senior management?
Excellent question, Anna. From my personal experience, I am deeply convinced of the interest of getting women on board in executive committees for all the reasons we just talked about. And the fact is that, especially in the energy or waste treatment sectors, women in exec com are very rare. So I am strongly in favor of increasing sharply women promotion inside the organizations or companies. Then you have two potential main difficulties to deal with. First one, avoid the dominant men decision makers to slow down this process, the one I was talking about a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
Second one, avoid the promotion of non-competent women.
Mm.
The first point can easily be addressed for me by quotas imposed inside the company or organization, either by law or by an internal decision coming from the board, for instance. The second point could be a negative consequence from the installation of quotas. The best way, from my point of view, is to install quotas progressively from the bottom to the top of the company or organization, but globally on a reasonable scale of time, like 5 years, for instance.
Yeah.
I am in favor of progressive quotas installed bottom-up on a 5 years period.
Okay. And so what's your opinion from a CEO's point of view for the best running of the company on the advantages and disadvantages of both systems, so quotas versus targets?
For me, target system is clearly weak